Hello there, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. I am showing you how we made this really cute Christmas card at my last Primrose Stampers team meeting. So when you buy the starter kit from me, you get to be a part of my stamping team. And it's really cool because we get together every month and we make cards. It's awesome. So this month we made this card with the Carols of Christmas stamp set, which is available just for demonstrators right now, people who buy the starter kit. That's what we're called. Whether we sell anything ever or not, we could just enjoy the discount forever, and that's awesome. But you're still called a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator because you're now suddenly more awesome because you bought the starter kit. So we use this stamp set, which is available in the starter kit this month, and just for demonstrators. And this is what we made. It's also using the coordinating dies to do the fun little cutouts here along the top. So I'm going to show you how I did that first. So I'm going to set that aside. I got some Night of Navy cardstock, and I cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. And let me just pull the big shot up here so that you can see what I did. So I used the magnetic platform because I wanted my cardstock and my die to stay still. I didn't want anything moving around. Just laid my cardstock there and got this die out of the die set. It's really cool. You can see kind of what it cuts out there. And it's designed to fit along the top of the cardstock. So whether you cut it at 4 or 4 1/4, it's just fine. So I just kind of lined it up there along the top. There, got it to stay where I wanted. And then put the top plate on and just run it through. Nothing special, nothing difficult, just real easy. Bring it back through so you can see it. So I'm actually going to, oop, the whole thing popped off. Look at it go. And everything actually cut out real cleanly, so I don't even need to use my die brush here. So now that that's been cut through, it's going to be layered over some glimmer paper, some of the Dazzling Diamonds, so it shines right through. Before I do that, I want to show you the other parts of what we're going to do. Alright, so we have this square of Whisper White, and we're going to be using some Night of Navy ink. So I'm just going to ink it up, press it onto my stamp pad, make sure it's all covered, and it is. So now I'm just going to place it onto my cardstock. Just press it on there, make sure it's all the way on. Ta-da! Gorgeous. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to be using some dies from the Layering Squares framelit set. And so for my glimmer paper, I'm going to be using the larger square on my glimmer paper, kind of cutting it from the bottom. You'll notice when you stamp with me that I like to use up the cardstock that you're not going to be seeing on your project. So I like to cut things from it so that I'm making the most of my cardstock and glimmer paper in this instance. So I'm going to bring this back into view so you can see what we're doing. So we're going to have our piece on Earth. Try to get it centered on there. And I'm just going to let that top part hang off because it won't matter whether it's on there or not. Okay, so this is going to be covered up by the rest of our Night of Navy, and only this will be what we need to see from behind our stars and moon. Okay, run it through. All right, slide this back out of the way now. So here we have our piece on Earth, now a perfect square with the small square die, or smaller, it's still kind of big, and our layer that will go behind it. So now I'm just going to move these out of the way because we don't need them there anymore. Okay, so this is going to go onto this glimmer paper with some dimensionals. I thought it would be really cute to kind of pop it up. We don't need to do that yet though, so I'm just going to kind of set this all off to the side and show you the last little bit of stamping that we need to do. Now through here, it kind of had just some blank space, which is fine. And if you use this and you see those little grooves there from the die, just rub your fingernail over them or your bone folder, and that helps get rid of those lines. So we're going to use the little stars that came in the stamp set, and we're just going to kind of dot them around this top space. So just a few of them, just around. Nothing too special. This, we're going to use our snail, and what would be really good is some fast fuse. Fast Fuse works very well. And I'm going to dot a little bit up in here just to make sure it has something to hold on. So make sure your hole's at the bottom and just kind of layer them on top of each other. You know what? I was mistaken, actually. The glimmer paper is 4 by 5 1/4, and the Night of Navy is 3 3/4 by 5. So sorry about that. A little faux pas there. We have some of the ever beautiful silver silver ribbon. It's the 1/8 inch. There we go. There's silver ribbon. So what I did was I put it as an X across my card, and so I saw how much I needed. Folded it in half, so that way I had 2. And then we cut it at the fold. So now it's 2 full pieces all the way. You know what? I forgot. I don't want it attached to that yet. I'm just putting the X on here. Man, I can't keep my steps in order today. Please forgive me. Okay. Add a bit more snail here. Make my X across, and it doesn't need to be a very big X. We want it just to be enough to be a bit of extra interest. And then line up the other side as well as you can. It's okay if it's not perfect. If somebody doesn't like your card because they're not perfect, well, they need to make one themselves so they can understand how much work goes into it. Okay, so now that we have that on, we're going to stick it on here. If your snail's not enough to hold it on there, the Fast Fuse is amazing and will hold on to anything. Okay, so now we're going to take this little piece here, and I wanted to kind of get that in place and then put this on. So I'm actually just going to slide it under here and then kind of center it in the space around here. So it'll almost be like a 1/2 inch border all the way around it. Like that. Dust your little extra glittery pieces off. Add some dimensionals. The dimensionals will hold to your glimmer paper. And I did top and bottom of my sentiment, or bottom and top. That way it grabs this glimmer paper and doesn't try to grab onto the ribbon, because that can just kind of make it pull around and look funny. All right, so that's stuck there, and the last thing we're going to do is tie a bow and add it to the front with a glue dot. So it's a bunny ear bow. You'll notice I like those. So you make your 2 loops, crisscross, loop it through to the hole, and pull. From here you can adjust it however you want. Makes it look nice. All right. Clip your end off now and grab a glue dot. Here it goes. Nice. Okay, so we're just going to stick this on the side over here, and I'll grab the glimmer paper and just add a little extra interest over here. Now that that's done, you stick it onto a card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. Put a little snail along the back here, in the corners, none in the middle, and then that just layers inside. Make sure I'm putting it on the right way. I don't want it upside down. And there it is. You have a beautiful navy and glimmery Christmas card. Well, if you enjoyed that, please subscribe to my channel and share this with someone. Maybe they'd like to make this card with you too. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. I enjoyed doing this with you, and happy stamping.